loss is a loss, and that helps people connect. Yeah, like I said, in the infancy of my artwork, I struggled with certain things, and maybe I didn't take criticism well. People were coming at me from different angles that I could never understand, so he kind of helped me to kind of stay on the common denominator, and yeah, we struck I guess it's a friendship, where he was hoping to come to England. So he had some aspirations, and I don't know whether you're aware of that, but he really wanted to come here. He spent some time in France, and I was hoping that would happen for him, because he would have been massive here. It's so sad that his infinite potential has been taken away from us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We definitely suffered a great loss in our generation of strugglers. Does anyone else want to kind of come in? Perhaps Sister Sanal would like to come in and you've got some thoughts, but please, to those who haven't spoken, it would be maybe interesting to hear from your sister, your familial sister, or your brother from Bradford. We'll have some more Bradford voices in the conversation.
When I came here, I was telling my brothers earlier as well, I want to know from people what they like about my work. So I'm serious with you, I'm serious. I'm not Picasso, right? I want to know, what is it? I admire the people that have done, like Norman Finkelstein, Che Guevara, Malcolm X. We all admire people like that. But I don't know what people see in it.
Feel free to comment.
You've got to tell me.
I'd like to make a comment.
Tell them who you are first.
I'm Abed, and we've known each other for about 8-9 years, but it feels like we've known each other forever. The pain that he shows in his artwork, it's not just art. This guy actually really feels that pain. Like a lot of us, like we'll come over in a situation and we'll be sad for a bit, or we might give it some words to express it. But the level that Hamza feels it at, I really don't know anyone that feels it like that. And anyone that will, a lot of people say they'll give everything for the oppressed. But if there really is a real example, from what I've seen, this is the only example I've seen. He's willing, not just speaking because he's my friend, but the absolute truth is, like even when he went on that convoy, it was such a big struggle. Like I said, he was out of a job, and the things that he did and the things that he sacrificed, unbelievable. I mean, I could carry on for days, but he is what he says, and the pain that his work reflects. He really does feel that, and you don't see that. You don't see that in a lot of people nowadays. A lot of people obviously comment, like I've said, but in reality, he lives what he says, and by his ideas. Sometimes he's really, really critical of himself. Like he'll do something, and to many of us that might not be that bad, but he'll beat himself about it. Like says, he spends hours on computers, locks himself away, and just thinks, and he'll be really overcritical. But yeah, he's like a mentor to me as well. I wasn't really in the activist world before I met him, and then he shared some light on me as well. And since then, I've been one of his followers as well. So I just wanted to say that it's not. It's not just a hobby for him. It's his life, real life. So every moment of his, he lives a revolution. And that's all I like to say, really.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
I think I can second that, most definitely. I mean, I know Hamza personally, he's like a big brother to me, and I've known him for a long time. And as long as I've known him for, this is who he's been, even before Intifada Street, with his word and everything that he did. This is what he lives, what he says he means, and there's very few people like that. So that's one of the main reasons why Hamza is so inspirational for me. And I know he doesn't like us praising him at all. But you have to give praise where it's due. And if we come back to the idea of struggle before, you were talking about the pictures from Guantanamo Bay and then comparing them with this artwork, and then kind of spoken word. We both did spoken word. I read some of Hamza's piece, and there was a lot of difference and a lot of breadth that we covered with what we said. And I think right now the struggle is so widespread, and there's so many fronts of the struggle. I don't think we can define it in one particular way. And that's why all of us personally have a different version of a struggle. like it might be the same struggle overall, we're all heading in the same direction, but because of our personal experiences, what we've seen kind of reflects that in a different way. So our art is going to reflect that in a different way as well. And it is only one way of doing that, the kind of wider picture. We're not going to kind of have a revolution just by doing some spoken word. We need to do that because that kind of attracts other people to what we're talking about. It humanises the struggle. But apart from that, we also have to actually physically be doing something, which doesn't mean that one is more important than the other. They go hand in hand, and I think a lot of the time people forget that.
Thank you. Eloquently put, thanks, sister. I mean, one thing that's, when I first noticed your work, and then when I understood more who you were, which is much more recently, but what stands out is several things to me. First of all, it's the brightness and the colours.
I don't like bright colours. I got migraines from it.
Well, thank you for that small sacrifice to put out for the rest of us. That's appreciated, because I love bright colours. So that stood out for me. The second thing that stood out for me was the way, and I think Brother Carlos Latouche does this as well. He brings different generations and eras of revolutionaries together into his art. So the very famous one with Malcolm beating Obama over his lap, right? Which is two figures from different eras but brought into the same frame. So that's something that's a reoccurring theme in your work as well. And it's something what Sister Lena touched upon as well, I suppose, is that was interesting about the kind of the quote unquote Western forms, especially with the good, bad, and the ugly one as well. So
there wasn't many takers to the ugly, so you got it.
Well, he's definitely a prime candidate for that. So there were some of the things that kind of, and also what stood out, and I think it's reflected a little bit in Brother Carlos Latouche's art as well, is the 1960s and 1970s type of propaganda art as well, particularly of the Black Power culture and era and struggle. I think that comes across as well. Perhaps that's because you reference Malcolm X and I think there's Angela Davis, I think, or Asata, I'm not sure.
Yeah, so both actually.
Right, yeah, in your work as well. So there were some of the themes that came. Do you consciously seek new fields of inspiration?
I think you have to. You have to try to make sense of the madness, so someone could reflect or give you a different argument to something or different perception. Then it's always something good to take on board. So yeah, and you can have stopped learning, right? So Sanat's shared so many things with me that I didn't know before, and vice versa. She knows who Tom Selleck is now.